Hey everyone, it's Matt aka Thanatos, and this is going to be Hazeldan126's 100 sub contest entry. Hazeldan126 is 2 months into the YouTube community. They've made, I don't know, a dozen videos in 2 months and have hit over 200 subscribers. So congratulations, you two. Your content's amazing, and keep on going because you're shooting up pretty quick. So that's awesome for you guys. And their contest entry is I have to be 18 years of age or older, which I am. I'm an old man. Don't let the Asian fool you. I look young. I don't actually look that young, but I'm really old. By old, I mean I turned 30 in like a couple months. I am subscribed to their channel, and then they want to know what your first grail is and what shaped my collecting. So obviously, most people that have found my channel found it because of my Showcase 22 Grail video. That is not my first grail. And I mean, that's my first really expensive grail. That's also a lie. It was probably Green Lantern 1. That was the first one that I nearly died after I won that eBay auction because I realized I just spent over $500. But this book, sentimentally, is my first Grail book. So backstory on me. I mentioned it a little bit in Silver Age Dave's, man, that's gonna screw me up so bad. Silver Age Dave's video, where I didn't start collecting until, I don't know, maybe a few years. I didn't get really into collecting until about 2 years ago. Before that, I was mostly a once every month, go to the comic book store, pick up my Green Lantern books, walk out, read them, be happy. So when I was a kid, I wasn't, I didn't grow up in a wealthy family or anything. My mom said, hey, I'll take you and you can get comics because you're a little kid, and that's cool. But I can't afford to buy you every comic known to man, so you get to pick one superhero and you're going to follow that superhero, and that's it. And I don't know what, this was like 2004-ish. So I was still maybe like a freshman or sophomore in high school. So I didn't read comics too early on, and at that point I really should just been buying my own. I picked Green Lantern for whatever reason, and it was actually a really good time to pick Green Lantern, because it was right when Rebirth happened. That Rebirth series, the mini-series, or like that, the Rebirth one-shot, or not, it was like 6 issues, was what first got me into Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. And from there I was hooked. I read all the previous books leading up to Rebirth. I missed quite a bit in the Kyle Rayner time frame, but then I followed it ever since. So I have almost the full run of Green Lantern up through Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps from 2004 on. That's just something I've kept up with. The story has always been amazing. New 52 hit a little bit of a bump after Geoff Johns left. I wasn't the biggest advocate for Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz after he finished the New 52 run at issue 20. But I kept going, and Hal Jordan getting the weird power glove and all that stuff was a little iffy. But he's my guy. I can't walk away from that. So anyway, probably around 2006 or 2007, right after I graduated from high school, I don't know what made me think I should look up Green Lantern on eBay, but I did, and I found this book, which is now my first grail. This is Green Lantern Rebirth number 6, which was obviously in that first 6-part series that I read when I first started reading Green Lantern, from This came out in May 2005. And I saw this on eBay for, I don't know, like 25 bucks. And it's signed by Ethan Van Sciver, who you guys should probably know as one of my favorite, maybe my favorite Green Lantern artist, and Geoff Johns. And it was numbered 37 out of 50. I don't know if you can read that. And it was a Dynamic Forces book. I did not buy it graded. Yeah, so learning curve here. This was me really straight up learning. So I got it for like 25 bucks, and it was the only book that I was super proud of, because everything else, you know, was well read. I had already had a copy of this book. I love this cover with all the Earth Green Lanterns and Kilowog, who, you know, deserves to be there because he's freaking Kilowog. And this is right when, you know, Hal Jordan regained his role as the Green Lantern. So picked this book up, and then years later, I at my first Comic-Con, I went to Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City when I was stationed in Nebraska, and I knew CGC was going to be there. And little did I know that certificate of authenticities do not mean you get a yellow label. I had no idea. I mean, obviously, I didn't really start collecting and learning about all this stuff until fairly recently. So I sent it in, and it was also my first 9.8. And I've kept this ever since. Like, I will never get rid of this book. And I've considered sending it in to CBCS to get it the VSP, but at this point, not going to happen. I'm going to keep it in this fantastic qualified green label. One, because it's not worth the money to put into it to get a different color label. Like, I know it's signed. I still have the certificate of authenticity that names it number 37 out of 50. And I don't know, I like knowing that I did this without caring about how much value it was going to gain because it was graded or anything like that. This was strictly I want to keep this forever. I want it to be protected. So I got it graded, and it's in a case, so that's cool. I'm a little upset that they just put 2 names and 37 out of 50 written on the cover in marker. Like, come on, guys, you knew that was Ethan Van Sciver. No one else signs that like that. You could have put 2 names written in ink and then put, like, in parentheses, you know, or in quotations, Ethan Van Sciver and Geoff Johns. Anyway, well, now Geoff Johns is kind of hard to come by. Not exactly the easiest guy to get a signature, so that's cool. But this was the beginning. Actually, so like shortly after I got this was when I started looking at eBay a lot more and seeing that there were a lot more collectible comics. And my LCS at the time started pulling anytime they had specials or Dynamic Forces books that were an option. They would pick them up. So I also have a few other books that are signed by Ethan Van Sciver that just come with a certificate of authenticity from some of his other books and covers that he's done for Green Lantern. So this first Sentimental Grail, and then I will go ahead and say this is what started the downward spiral. A very riveting CBCS label. This was before they came out with their new label. I had seen a copy of this, and this, I mean, I was very familiar with modern time Green Lantern books, was not very familiar with the Origin or Silver Age stuff. I'd seen this cover before, and I'd also seen Showcase 22. You couldn't have told me the difference 5 years ago about the two. They were the same to me, whether one was his first issue and the other one was his first appearance. But I had been seeing these graded for sale on eBay for a ton of money. And anytime one came up on auction, I don't know why. Like I to this day I still have very few eBay feedback. I think I'm under 100, but I started looking these up, and I think that's kind of when the addiction happened, where I started seeing how much they were going for and in what condition they were going at. Started learning a little bit more about grades and learning about comics that might be restored and all that stuff. So I got a lot more involved in the collection aspect of comic books rather than just the reading. And being that Hal Jordan was my favorite character, Sinestro is more like my favorite character, but Hal Jordan my favorite, like Earth Green Lantern. I was interested, and I remember seeing a copy of this sell on eBay at auction. It ended at like $600, and it was beautiful. Whoever got that, to this day, I'm sad about it, because it was probably graded at like a 6.0 to 7.0. It was amazing, and I was super sad about missing it. So that caused me, the next time I saw an issue that I thought was really nice, not nearly as nice as the first one, but I last second was like, you know what, screw it. I just got back from another deployment, I have the money, and I put like a $600 max bid on it, and I won this Green Lantern #1 for like 500 like 20 bucks. This was raw, and it terrified me, and I remember feeling this sinking feeling. I think I even posted on Reddit that I had buyer's remorse, because I had spent $500 on a comic book, and I died inside. I was super jacked up for a few days. I thought I should return it, but I got a lot of good advice from people who had already been collecting, saying, you know, they've experienced that same thing. Just hold on to it, and in a few days your opinion might change. So held on to it, decided, screw it, I'm going to go get this graded, and if it comes back a 3.0, I mean really a 2.5 or higher, I won. I made my money back, and lo and behold, it got a 4.0. I was terrified that it would come back restored and stuff, but I do love this old cover. So the only thing is, I don't know if it's kind of hard to see without really looking at it, but someone put a cup on this, like a wet cup. It has a little ring there, a little soil mark, and that is upsetting. Why would you use a comic as a cup holder, or I don't know what they call them. Anyway, why would you do that? Like, oh, I'm gonna just sit here and eat my Stouffer's Kitchen meal on, like, no, damn it, it's a comic. It's not a table mat. Anyway, this was my first grail, and this started everything. This was my only graded comic and really collectible comic that I cared about for years. I didn't buy this until probably maybe late 2015, early 2016, and then it all went downhill from there, because shortly after this is when I bought my Green Lantern #7, and then every deployment I would come home and buy more books, which led to my last one, which was the Showcase 22. In this new job, no deployments, so we'll see how that goes. It's probably good. My wife's probably pretty happy about that. That one, that I'm not deploying, which I'm happy about, but two, that I won't have all that potential spare time to just look at comic books all day. So anyway, that was the longest sub-contest entry video ever. Hazeldan126, congratulations on your YouTube channel and getting over 200 subscribers. I really enjoy your content, and I hope you continue to make videos. This was my sub entry. It showed you 2 Green Lantern books that were my first sentimental grail and my first real valuable grail for Green Lantern for me. And I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I hope you continue watching my videos. And I appreciate the sub contest entry. I mean, it's really cool that you guys are going to give away books. And I still need to come up with my own sub contest entry because I just hit 100 subs. So way to go, me! And anyway, you guys enjoy your weekend, and I'll talk to you all later.